when BCI came out, started processing the exterior of the house. We had our detectives obtain a search warrant for the house, and we also found out that Michelle had a roommate, Roxanne, who was currently working at a Burger King, a local Burger King, and we went up there. One of our officers went up there, asked her to follow him down to the station, which she did in her own car, and Sergeant Bresnick started interviewing her, and then the detectives talked to her after they got free and clear to come in and do that. Ms. Buck was cooperative but evasive. We tried to nail her down to a timeline of her whereabouts, what she had done that evening, and we ended up letting her go because there was no statement issued by her. Like I said, there was nothing incriminating that drew our immediate attention that we could face any charges on. However, we did obtain a search warrant for her vehicle also, and Bureau of Criminal Investigation also processed that vehicle, which was in our police garage. So once the crime scene was secured, all the evidence was gleaned from there and the vehicle, we were then kind of at the mercy of physical evidence, because, like I said, we had a person of interest, being Ms. Buck, but nothing to directly at that time tie her to the crime scene where we felt comfortable making charges against her. So Wednesday morning, we also talked to the detectives, went up to the Bureau of Criminal Investigation and met with them about what evidence should be processed first will give us the most telling evidentiary value. They met, they decided what they want to process first. They promised to get back to us Thursday sometime with the results of some of the DNA testing. Also Wednesday afternoon, the detectives asked Ms. Buck to come back in. She came back in, still would not give a statement, still would not admit anything. We didn't let her go. Thursday morning, we were informed by the Bureau of Criminal Investigation, the identification investigation, that the DNA evidence in the roommate's vehicle could be directly linked to the victim. So it was obvious that Ms. Buck was not only a suspect, it looked like at least the perpetrator was involved in his homicide. We contacted Summit County Prosecutor's Office to authorize charges of murder and tampering with evidence against Ms. Buck. Detective Sergeant Dunn and an officer went up to where Ms. Buck was staying and arrested her. She was brought in, charged, and she was taken to Stow Municipal Court for arraignment, and she was, the bond was set at $1 million cash, and she was taken to the Summit County Jail where she's currently being held. Information on Ms. Buck: she's Roxanne Lee Buck, 4410 Maplepark Road. Her date of birth is 8/1/69, which makes her 44 years of age. She's 5'9", 160 pounds. She was born in California, raised mostly in Florida, and she came to the Ohio area probably 1974-75, residing here off and on since then. We read a career criminal history on her. She has a career criminal history of a couple of DUI arrests in Florida, and also domestic violence against her boyfriend in Florida. Ms. Buck is charged with murder, felony of the first degree, penalty being 15 years to life, and also with tampering with evidence was a felony of third degree, which is punishable by 9 to 36 months in jail. And if you have any questions, if you haven't already received, I sent out an email with Ms. Buck's booking photo. If you don't have it, I have one here, a hard copy, if you need to take a picture of that.
Chief, could you tell us if any of your cruisers have been by that house in the last year or two, specifically with issues with Michelle or with Roxanne?
No, we haven't had any specific calls, things of that nature.
Right, because neighbors have told us that the police were called to that house several times over the last year for minor issues. Are you aware of any of them?
Steve, do you have any? No, I don't think so. We checked that for any calls, unless it was something else in the neighborhood I couldn't tell you.
Chief, you talked about crime of passion earlier.
Right.
The relationship between the two women, how long has Ms. Buck lived at that residence? And what do we know? I heard there's some Facebook comments and things like that. What do we know about the relationship of the two women?
Well, as far as I know, Ms. Buck is a relationship to a cousin through marriage, and she would need a place to live, and Diane Johnson and her daughter had rented a half of a duplex, and apparently then they asked Ms. Buck to let her move into the downstairs room down there.
How long has she been living
About
there?
2 months, we heard about 2 months that I've been sharing that duplex. And the mother, Diane Johnson, was in West Virginia at the time.
You talk about crime of passion.
Yes. Well, it was a pretty violent crime scene. It was obvious there was a lot of passion involved, a lot of passion is the best way I can put it, a lot of violence involved.
Was there a relationship between the two, or a relationship, I mean, do you have any idea of the motive right now?
No, we have no idea what the motive is. Like I say, Ms. Buck is not speaking. We also have not found the murder weapon.
Is there a weapon, or is it possible that she used her own hands?
No, it was definitely a weapon involved, sharp-edged weapon, definitely.
Heard rumblings about Buck being evicted from the home.
I'm sorry?
Have you heard any rumblings about Buck facing an eviction from the home?
No, I have not. Steve, you heard anything about that?
She had discussed it with Diana Johnson. She was behind her rent at one time, and they had asked her to move out, so she was planning on moving out.
How did she feel about being moved out?
She said she welcomed it. When we talked to her about it, she said, she didn't exactly like the living conditions, because she was in the lower part of the basement, and people were coming and going all the time. She was looking for the environment.
The body had been there for how long?
We're not sure. Sometime, what do you think, Steve? We had a rough time pinning down the time of death because of the fact that the body was out of the element so long. And I'm not sure what the exact time frame was.
It could be determined because of the cold weather and stuff.
And we're still trying to pin down the exact last people I had communication with Ms. Johnson. Some of her friends are still getting back to us.
The murder happened in the duplex she was dragged out?
Yes.
Where inside the duplex? Where inside the duplex?
One of the rooms in the bottom of the duplex.
And whose room is it?
Roommate's room.
Roxanne's room.
So a lot of evidence inside the...
Yes.
Any other theories on why this happened?
No, without the cooperation from Ms. Buck, we really don't know what the incident was that precipitated this. We really don't know. It'll all be speculation at this point.
Did anyone else live inside the duplex besides those two women?
The mother.
The mother lived there?
Diane Johnson and Michelle lived upstairs.
Mhm.
And then they rented a room downstairs to Ms. Buck.
Okay. But who owns the property?
I don't know that at all.
Not the Johnsons?
No.
Do either have children? There was like children toys in the yard and stuff.
No, it could have been the neighbor. I don't know if the neighbors have kids there or not, but no. They were
And Roxanne is somehow related to the Johnsons?
I think by marriage to a cousin, kind of a distant relationship, but there is kind of a family connection there.
Right now, you just think it was her that did it, wasn't an accomplice? to drag
Right,
her?
as far as we know, there's no evidence to point to an accomplice, and she is not giving us a statement, so at this point, she's the only suspect we have.
You mentioned DNA inside the car. Is that blood that you found inside her car?
Yes,
Where did you find it inside the car?
on some books.
On some, sorry?
Books.
Books? What kind of books?
I don't know what the titles were, just library books, I guess. Anything else?
Thanks very much.
Thank you.